So now I'm at a stage where I'm getting this roof beams or joist installed. This is the internal frame. They sit on the internal frame, and this is where all the gyprock or the drywall, the ceiling will be screwed onto there, and obviously the walls will be on the internal frames. There'll be also some beams going across between each of the ceiling joists going across to keep it all steady as well. I managed to get all of the ceiling joists nailed in, except two. I have two of them which are a little bit bended. They have a bow, so it's going to be a bit hard to put them in. So I'm just using some bricks to weigh them down. I also wetted them a little bit, and I will leave them overnight so they go back into shape, hopefully, and I'll be able to finish them off tomorrow. Well, today is 1st of December 2016, and I'm working on the internal frame, as you would have seen. So I'm just finishing off the ceiling joist, and then I will put the battens in, and that'll be it. Then the internal frame will get mounted onto the floor, and with that rubber between them. So, and today it has been 35 degrees Celsius outside. It is 8 p.m. at the moment, and I am sweating. Not sure if that's because of my hard work or the temperature, but just as a note to myself, I thought I'll record it, that it is quite hot in here. Not unbearable, but it is hot because it does not have any roofing, and it does not have any insulation, so it does get quite warm. So I'm hoping that once the metal roofing and then the double insulation that will be put in around the ceiling and the walls, it won't be as hot as it is. And 35 degrees, maybe up to 37, 38 degrees is pretty much the hottest day in Sydney that we'll get in our area during summertime, maybe on average once a week or thereabouts. So it does fluctuate, goes up and down, so it should be fine. We'll see how it goes. Well, I think this is about it. It's another milestone. I believe I have now put the last nail on the framing. I don't think I've got any more framing to do. So all the internal frame is now done, including the ceiling. So the gyprock will nicely get screwed onto the ceiling as well, and as well as the wall. So the only thing left now is to screw down the internal frame on the concrete slab, and that's about it. The next stage would be to start sealing some of the gaps between just the plywood and the frame and so on, just to make it a little bit more airtight. And the next step would be is to order in and get the roof that get installed. And at the same time, I guess now it's pretty much weather tight, I can also order in my insulation. There's going to be two types of insulation, as I mentioned. One would be the thermal insulation, which will go onto the ceiling, on the roof, just underneath the roof. And then there'll be acoustic treatment, which will go into the internal frame. So we'll see how that goes. Now that all of the internal frames have been completed and assembled and it's all done, so the walls, the ceiling and so on, I have also gone around and sealed all of the gaps on the outside, so the plywood panels that are going on top, so any gaps in between, and as I have shown you before, so all of that has been sealed as well. So now is the time to get the rubber underneath the frame and then bolt them down. So here I go. Now that I have walls and a roof, I thought I'll do a quick audio analysis of the room to see how it actually performs with just 12mm plywood of the wall and the ceiling with no insulation or anything else. I'm just using a simple 8-inch PA speaker set right in the middle at a normal height. I have my reference microphone, which is my Behringer ECM 8000, and that's connected to my Yamaha AG03, and that's USB connected to my laptop, and on my laptop I'm actually running Room EQ Wizard. And I've just done a quick sweep, and this is the graph that I'm actually getting the way it is now. The speaker specification says that it can handle from 55 Hz all the way up to 20 kHz. I've got some doubts, but anyway, regardless of what the speaker I'm actually using, it's just a reference point. So later on at different stages, I will be using the same speaker, same position and same layout, and measuring it again to see what difference it will make once I finish off putting all of my insulation. And then another one once I actually have my gyprock or drywall installed. And then lastly another one once I have my all of internal acoustic panels and foams and so on. So I'm just gonna do a measure and see what happens. Okay, so that's the full scale graph. Let's just have a quick look at 1/12 scaling so we can get a little bit more flatness. So that's the response that I'm actually getting. So obviously the room has, as with the size of this room, there's always going to be an issue at lower frequencies. We are looking anywhere between about 80 Hertz to somewhere about 200 Hertz, I would say, about there. So it's actually at 75. Let me see. Yep, thereabouts. So that's my flat line. Not sure how you can actually. I'll do a video screen capture. So as you can see, that's my 75 dB line. So it's pretty smooth, except I've got this peak right at the bottom and some dips over here, and the rest up to 20k. Surprise, surprise, actually can handle it. A tiny little bit of dip here, but that can be pretty much resolved. And with the 1/3 equalization, which I normally like to go with, you know, that's pretty nice, smooth response for my home studio. So a little bit of dip we need to take care of, and these middle frequencies anywhere between 600 Hertz to 4 kilohertz, and the rest is pretty much straight. Not bad. So that's a great reference to work with, to see how much of that will change, especially this lower peak. That's really important that we get rid of that bass.